Well, it's time now for a look at what's caught the attention of today's international newspapers with our press reviewer, Florence Vignino. Hello, Florence.
Hi, Lorna.
So the Supreme Court's ruling to uphold President Barack Obama's healthcare bill is, of course, all over the press today. What's caught your attention?
It's all over the press. We're going to start by looking at the Wall Street Journal. It's on a couple of front pages. Here you see that Supreme Court upholds Obama's health care law, and there you see a photo of backers of the health care law celebrating yesterday in front of the Supreme Court building in Washington. It's also on the cover of the International Health Tribune, which keeps it a little bit shorter and sweeter. U.S. health law stands, and there you see a picture of Barack Obama giving an address at the White House yesterday. Now, one thing that a lot of the press is focusing on is just what does this mean for Barack Obama? And unanimously, everyone says that it's a milestone, but the fight is not over. So actually in the editorial of the International Health Tribune, it points out that this is a great development for Americans because it means that according to this Affordable Health Care Act, it will provide health insurance for tens of millions of working people and help rationalize and bring down the cost of health care for everyone. And it's also, as I was saying, a huge victory for President Obama at a critical time and a big loss for the right. So The Guardian, in their editorial, they also point out how much of a victory this is for Obama. They call it a giant leap. According to them, Barack Obama got the biggest boost his re-election campaign could have dreamed of, and it was a major political victory for him and a huge blow for his rival Mitt Romney. And to quote this editorial, they say that Republicans fought tooth and nail all the way through Congress and the courts, and they deserve to feel humiliated. So quite harsh words there for the Republicans.
Enjoying their victory there.
Absolutely.
A little bit, The Guardian, perhaps.
But The Guardian does point out, though, that this judgment doesn't spell the end of this bitter political rival. And more than ever, Barack Obama needs to get reelected because the main provisions of the act will be only implemented in 2014. So the pressure is still on.
Indeed. And of course, Mitt Romney has said that he will repeal it if he does get in. So, as you say, lots of pressure. But another key aspect that the press is focusing on is the role of Chief Justice Roberts, the kind of kingmaker in all of this, effectively. In the end, he cast the critical vote.
Absolutely, and it was a surprise vote for Chief Justice John Roberts, given his past. He went from being zero to hero for lots of Democrats. And there's an interesting piece in the Christian Science Monitor, which is kind of a portrait of him. He's an unlikely Obama supporter because he was appointed Chief Justice under George W. Bush. He's known for being very conservative. Critics say that he also often plays into partisan politics, so nobody thought he would be the one to swing this vote. And according to the Christian Science Monitor, they applaud Roberts for showing moderation, and they say that it's a rebuke to the politicization of the Supreme Court, and they point out that bipartisanship is necessary on big issues. They say that this might be the defining moment of his career because recently the Supreme Court had been drawing a lot of criticism for becoming too political, and with this vote he's restored the court's reputation as an independent arbiter and reduced partisan politics.
Okay, and of course, as we said, a big blow to Republicans, this ruling. The New York Times has been taking a look at how Mitt Romney is going to bounce back from it all.
Absolutely. It's a piece by David Firestone. It looks at his strategy, and it points out that Romney seemed a little shaken yesterday by the news, and his task now is to persuade people that, as you were saying, if he's elected, he'll repeal the law. So he's calling on this, it's a conservative call to arms, as they say. But the article is quite critical of him and points out that he once upon a time had a similar idea, and one that actually inspired Barack Obama somewhat.
Indeed, that is his weak point, I think, in this upcoming election. Just finally, a lot of the international press reacting to the Eurozone crisis and what's going on in Brussels as well.
That's right. It's pretty pessimistic view coming out of the international press today. We're going to take a look at two cartoons starting in the International Herald Tribune. There you see Angela Merkel and her fellow Euro leaders around the table there, and she's saying, long term this will make us stronger, and her neighbor there, maybe Hollande, says short term it'll kill us, so not very optimistic. Also a cartoon in China Daily that's also not very optimistic about what these Euro leaders can actually do at this summit. There you see the Eurozone that's portrayed as a very heavy looking ball rolling down a hill and crushing these Euro leaders that are trying to push it back up the hill. So not very optimistic about what they can actually do there.
Indeed. Well, we wait to see what comes out of the summit this Friday. Thank you very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's newspapers.